All right, let's dive right into the brand new 2025 OWASP Top 10. For anyone who doesn't live and breathe this stuff, the OWASP Top 10 is basically the Bible for web application security. It's the gold standard. And trust me, this latest update is a really big deal, maybe one of the biggest shifts we've ever seen.
So let's just start with this question right here. I want you to really think about it. Is your security playbook out of date? Because if it is, you might be spending all your time and money defending against yesterday's attacks while leaving the front door wide open for what's coming today.
And there's a really good reason we're asking. This isn't just a minor tweak or a reshuffling of the same old list. The fundamental rules of the game have changed. What we thought of as secure has been completely upended, and this new list is basically the new rulebook.
Now, this isn't just based on a gut feeling. This new list is built on a massive analysis of over 2.8 million applications. That is a staggering amount of data. This is what security intelligence looks like on a global scale. So let's get into what that data is telling us. Okay, so the first big idea we really need to wrap our heads around is that the ground has completely shifted under our feet. The old way of thinking about security, it's just not going to cut it anymore. And here's the absolute core of that shift. For years, the main focus was on finding bugs in the code that you and your team write. But now, the biggest risks aren't there. They're in how you set up your cloud environments, and, even more importantly, in the code you don't write, all those third-party packages and libraries that make up your software supply chain.
With that shift in mind, let's meet the new top threats. This is where you can really see just how dramatic the changes to the OWASP list have been. I mean, just look at that jump. Security misconfiguration has absolutely skyrocketed from number 5 all the way up to number 2. That's not a small adjustment, folks. That is a massive red flag waving right in our faces. So what is it exactly? Well, it's all the little things that go wrong in the incredibly complex environments our apps now live in. We're talking about insecure default settings that never get changed, cloud setups that are only half finished, and just the sheer complexity that comes with modern tools like infrastructure as code.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. It's not about some super genius hacker anymore. A single, simple mistake by one developer, like leaving a cloud storage bucket open to the public internet, can lead to an absolutely catastrophic breach. All right, now for the next major shift, and this one is a monster. Meet the highest new entry on the list, and you could argue it's the most dangerous. Software supply chain failures. It just debuted at number 3. You know, this forces a total change in mindset. Securing your app is no longer like guarding a castle with a moat. It's now like you're in charge of a massive global shipping port. You didn't build all the thousands of containers coming in, but you are absolutely responsible for what's inside them. And here's how devastatingly simple this kind of attack can be. An attacker poisons just one popular software library that everyone uses. Then, a developer, just doing their job, includes it in their project. And just like that, boom, thousands of companies are instantly vulnerable.
So I know these categories can sound a bit abstract. Let's make it real. What are the actual, real-world stakes when these things go wrong? 198 million. Yeah, that's the unbelievable number of American voter records that were exposed in the Deep Root Analytics breach. This is a perfect, terrifying example of what a misconfiguration failure can lead to.
And how did it happen? Wasn't some complex Hollywood-style hack. As you can see right here, the root cause was a publicly accessible cloud storage bucket. The key failure? Default security settings were just never changed. It was an open door with no one even watching who came and went. It's simple, it's preventable, and it was absolutely disastrous.
And as dangerous as misconfigurations are, these supply chain failures, they're like a digital pandemic. They spread with a speed and a scale that's just terrifying, creating a domino effect that can be almost impossible to stop once it starts. Just look at the Log4Shell incident as a case study. On day 1, a flaw in a super common logging library is announced. By day 2, just 24 hours later, ransomware groups are already weaponizing it. And by the end of the first week, nation-states are using it for espionage. That's how fast a supply chain flaw becomes a global crisis.
Okay, so after all that, what do we actually do? Let's get into the practical side of this. What does your security playbook need to look like right now to deal with these new realities?
The new strategy really boils down to 3 core actions. First, you have to know exactly what's inside your software. That's your supply chain.
Second, you have to automate the process of checking your cloud configurations. You can't do it manually anymore. And third, you need a mental shift. Start treating every little application error as a potential security risk.
And the good news is we have the tech for this. To know your supply chain, you use what are called software bills of materials, or SBOMs. Just think of it like a detailed ingredients list for your code. To automate those configuration audits, you use Cloud Security Posture Management, or CSPM tools. They're like a 24/7 automated security guard for your cloud. And finally, treating errors as risks, that's about building smarter code with things like secure error handling and fail-safe defaults.
You know, the threat landscape never ever stands still. If there's one core message from the 2025 OWASP Top 10, it's that our security has to be just as dynamic. The next big threat is already out there taking shape. So the only real question is, will your playbook be ready to face it?